What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with NIO, Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with the overall market, what's going on with the economic calendar, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I begin to double this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I'm firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, deposit $100, you're guaranteed 7 free stocks. The offering is very soon in just about 2 weeks. Anyways, for NIO, we got this big rejection. We actually lost this 5.26 support, and now we're just kind of shuffling at this 200 EMA. We're still looking quite bearish, in my personal opinion. So, looking at the overall market, there are some signals out there that show that SPY is kind of rejecting a bit. The market could see a little bit of a drop, especially the way we open on Monday, and then we'll have to see what the market ends up doing from there. But just know that if the market were to top and if it were to kind of like downtrend a bit, this could be a little negative for NIO. However, NIO does have Envo being released in just a couple of days, so the hype leading up to it could cause a little bounce, maybe a little bit later on after a bit more downside. So I'll be watching to see if NIO kind of drops a bit and eventually gets a bounce approaching the big event, and we'll see how things go from there. The Dow Jones has jumped more than 100 points to post its winning streak, eighth winning day, the best week of 2024. Market is holding up decently, but we're getting some signals that we're at some very, very tight resistance. So I'll be breaking down more details about that a little bit later. For tomorrow, it's going to be Monday, May 13th, 2024. We have Jefferson Messer giving speeches right before the market opens. Then we have consumer inflationary expectations coming out at 11 o'clock a.m., followed by the bill auctions at 11:30. So look for some volatility for the first couple of hours for the day, and the rest of it should be kind of quiet, in my personal opinion. For Tuesday, we have PPI data coming out, not to mention Jerome Powell's speech. And then for Wednesday, we have the one and only CPI. So we'll see what happens for Monday with some data coming out. In addition to this, we also have more data over here. We'll be watching to see what happens with all of the earnings that are coming out. Earnings are going to be very minor for tomorrow, but we have the Home Depot and more retail at least coming out for the next couple of days. And then, for Walmart, we have that coming out on Thursday. Now, moving forward, as far as NIO goes, NIO has produced their 500,000th EV. We're waiting for them to kind of like announce the deliveries for it. That's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks. We're also going to look at the Chinese registrations, which will show that this will be another milestone NIO achieves with deliveries. So that's good news for them. The volume is at about 49 million, a little bit below average. We did dip a bit exactly as we predicted, and the short volume is kind of flat right now. On top of this, the price-price ratio is kind of dipping just a little bit. We're only at about this area right here where it's dipping towards this current area. So the ratio is dipping because it's showing some weakness. We tend to see more volatility at around 11 a.m. and also at 1 p.m. And there tends to be more volatility at around Mondays. We're green about 49% of the time, and we see more volatility on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Besides that, that's pretty much it, at least for NIO as far as things go for now. We got this little rejection off 5.26, kind of dipping a little bit, so we'll see what happens there. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, I want to actually kind of transition back here. We're on a bit of a downtrend right now. So we had these nice wicks that formed right here. These wicks basically are very, very interesting. They are showing a little bit of weakness on SPY because, or not just SPY, for NIO as well. But it kind of tells us that, once again, NIO's showing a little weakness here, kind of dipping a little bit. So we're going to be watching this $5 area. I think we might test that first. We'll see if we lose that. If we do lose it, we could dip a little bit more to fill our imbalance at 4.8. But NIO has a lot of gaps above, and we have a big event coming up. So I wouldn't be surprised if NIO tries to get a little rebound. To me, it looks like NIO is going to be testing 5. We'll see if it loses this or not. So it might dip a little bit more. If we do lose it, it might dip even lower to about 4.8, then try to bounce back up. So we'll have to see which way it goes. Do we bounce off 5 or 4.8? But I do see a little bit of a dip coming. Now, going back to SPY, if you look at SPY, we ended up losing the key support that we had at this critical level. So seeing this happen and seeing the way that things are essentially moving for SPY, we got a little rejection here. So there's going to be a risk of this actually dipping a bit lower. So we'll just have to see if that ends up being the case or not. I do believe that we're going to be approaching our key support right here at this 5. It's going to be testing 520. If we lose that, we could be dipping all the way down to about 518, by the way. So there's a risk of SPY dipping. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case. If we do end up dipping all the way down to 518, this is where we had previous resistance becoming support. We could actually rebound a little bit off that and continue lower. So we'll have to see if this thing is about to start reversing. I do anticipate it's going to dip a little bit lower. If we do fail to hold 520, we could see 518 and an attempt to rebound again. But then we could end up just continuing the trend lower. As far as Tesla goes, we're on a downtrend. We're rejecting off this white trend line. We have this 167 support. If we lose to 167, we could be dipping all the way down to 165. If we hold this, we could rebound towards 172, but we are on a downtrend. We are looking a little bit weak, so we'll have to see how things go. With this downtrend on SPY and Tesla, we're looking a little bit more bearish. So, Tesla would possibly go all the way down to 165 before anything else. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually test 165 and then try to rebound. We're at some key support for Tesla, so we'll see how things go. But there is a risk of it dipping lower towards another imbalance at 165, just to be blunt. For Nvda is also looking a little bit more weak right now. We have basically resistance around 908. We have support at 900. If we lose that, I think we have a gap to fill below. So we might actually shuffle a little bit, come down to fill this gap into the 885 area, then try to rebound. But I see a little dip coming to Nvda before it attempts to do anything else like that. QQQ also has a bearish divergence looking kind of weak. I do see a test of about 439 coming, so I think we might actually dip a little bit as volume is declining. I wouldn't be surprised if we come all the way down towards that 439 area. Then we also have Aapl. Aapl is trading within this range, kind of flat right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually dip a bit lower towards 181.36. We have resistance at 183.5, and then we'll see what happens from there. In my personal opinion, there is a risk of this dipping a little bit lower. Might trade sideways for a bit and eventually make our way down towards 181. With that being said, guys, that's it for the video for now. Just know that the VIX is at some key support in the 12 area. And we'll see if that ends up affecting the way we move moving forward or not. With that being said, I'll be continuing to monitor the situation just to see how the market's doing. For Coinbase, we're also looking kind of weak on the 4-hour as well. If we fell at 200, we'll see it dip all the way down towards 193. If we hold this, we could rebound to about 212. Right now, we're looking a little bit more bearish on Amazon. We're also looking a little bit weak. If we end up losing 187.49, we're going to be dipping all the way down to about 184.93. I think there's a risk of it dipping a little bit lower. So we'll see if that ends up being the case, but just be very, very mindful and be very, very patient, and we'll see how things end up going. But that's what I'm seeing, at least for the majority of stocks out there. Meta is still kind of flat right now. We have support currently at 472. If we lose this, we're going to be dipping all the way down to about 468. So we'll see if that's the case. Trading sideways within a range, 470 as resistance and 472 as support. If we lose that, look for a little bit of a dip on that as well. Anyways, going back to NIO one last time, guys. NIO is still looking a little bit bearish on their 4-hour time frame. I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of like rebound a little bit and then start making our way down to 5. We'll see if we bounce off 5 or not. If we fail, we're going to going all the way down to like 4.8, and then we could bounce. But I see a little bit of a dip coming first, a little pop and drop like move, and then we will see where we end up holding support. So be prepared for more downside, guys. We have Envda being announced this week, so we'll see if that helps NIO bounce. We could dip a little bit more, but watch and see if we bounce off 5 and try to make our way back up to 5.626 later or not. So look for a dip, a little pop and drop like move, a dip all the way down to about $5, if not 4.8, and then we could rebound back into the 5s after that. So we'll see. But look for a little dip and then a bounce on NIO. That's the most likely possibility. And with that being said, I want to wish you guys a very, very happy Mother's Day. So I appreciate all the mothers out there. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you for listening, and peace out.